classrooms are being managed, once children are able to pass basic national examinations, once uh, teachers are on time, we are succeeding. Before we leave office, I believe our national literacy rate will hit the 90s. I'm not joking. I am optimistic because the education ministry is working. Now we need people to write textbooks. If other people did it, and we have our literacy rate to be in the 60s, and those people that did, like Sierra Leone, if they are still on 35, tell me. We are as twice as much as capable of doing it. We cannot risk misdirecting our energies and our intelligentsia. We have to put it to use, because that will be the legacy we could be passing down to the next generation of people. We are not talking about present realities. We are talking about perpetuality. Time that will come after us. 100 years from now, 200 years from now, 1,000 years from now, and to eternity. So we must plan now for the life to come. And those people that are in the diaspora, I will encourage them to go home only when they see improvement and progress in the people that occupy government positions. That will make them to say, hey, we need to go, and together we can have this thing done. But when they are hearing ugliness, and they say, well, why is the need? How much longer will I live? Then I'll go over there. What if I get devastated? What will be my next move if I lose my possessions? And it happened to some people. They went in, they lost everything they had. So they are devastated. They can't come back in the West. Their family members are facing, starvation. So people in authority is supposed to see reasons to design strategies and plans to create something, that the future, our posterity will look and say, "Lo, that generation of people after the war, they did something that we are living on." Tubman, Tolbert, they try. Those presidents try to bring out the image, especially Tubman. He introduced forced education. He was misunderstood. Say, look, every child must not be left behind. They say, oh, he's trying to, indoctrinate the native children so that the Congo people can, have them. He was misunderstood. My father can tell me, he said, the Forced Education Act failed because the native people were misdirected and they were not guided. They say he was trying to recruit those children so that they can give them to Congo people. So you can tell me, say his father said, if anybody came to the village, they should not take him away. They cannot take his son away. So I said, Daddy, so what is it? He said it was, my daddy, was imbued by, local thoughts. They were not educated. So only few people in his time, those are the people that ever went to school. And their standards of education, was like 8th grade, like it is like high school in our days. Anybody that attained an 8th grade education was seen as a dignified person, as a writer, as a decision maker. And we have seen some of those people in our time. They wrote better English, they wrote grammar, they were very sharp people. The little they knew, it was organized. But we will know more now in our time that is devastation and deviance. So, my concern here is how will Liberia overcome the issue of armed robbery? Armed robbery is the basis for fear and insecurity. Insecurity jeopardizes investment. And all this boils down to a failed state. If there are no revenues to carry on government operations, then government can be operating in parts. It will not have control. No police officer will want to patrol in areas. We have to get a night police force, and the salary should reflect the fact that they are working in the night. That's what I see here in the United States. Daytime police force have some, salary. They're the same people, but once you are giving a night shift, it reflect different salary range. There is an addition bonus. I see some private, police officers that make $60 an hour or 75 because night is very dangerous, like what we are seeing. There is a strategy. So police walk around. Sometimes they suffer, but most of the time they succeed in arresting criminality. So those people that have come here to study and went back and occupy government positions, they should be able to translate what they see in the West into action in our country. They are not doing it. And so many Liberians were educated here. When they go home, it's like how they were having a torch. And then they went and plunged it in the water. And then darkness is prevailing when they're supposed to use the torch to make the community of people to see. Then they go, they plunge it. This is how the deviance still continues in the country. And Dara talking about cleaning the system. If everybody doesn't know what to do right, how do you clean the system? It will just be like a dog chasing its tail. It gets nowhere. How can a dog chase its own tail? It can never get anywhere. So Weah is at least coming close to solving the problem, because if everybody knows what is right, you cannot fool anybody else. We have seen in the war, we saw small child soldiers that were killing people. It was not the big, warriors that killed more people. It was a child soldier. When they pass judgment on you, they give the small boy a gun. They say, "Look, go bloody that man," and it happened a million times. People cannot deny this. I was in that country. I didn't run away. In fact, I walked from territory to territory. I have seen a lot. Sometimes myself was threatened. People wanted to do me in. But my God did not put it there that I would die like an animal by a bullet that I didn't deserve. I wasn't working in government. I wasn't part of any government. I wasn't part of any political movement. I was young then, 21 years, 22 years old. So I just wanted to see I was walking those territory for my own survival, and also to write about things that I've seen and I'm talking about now. That what I imagined that long time ago, I would be one of the men in society to be a voice of reasons, even if I don't have any position. But I can be a voice of reasons to tell others this is what transpired and this is how it happened, and to bear witness to the good things that I've seen, to bear witness to those people like the late Kia Chipo, his stance on corruption and immorality. Chipo was a man from the southeastern region of Grand Jide County. If we had 10 Kia Chipos, Liberia will be a transformed, dynamic country. But we have only one keeper. We have only one keeper. So his death really paralyzed me the day I got to understand Kipo has died. He was really such an amazing national character. I admire him in many ways than one. He spoke his mind on any issue. He was vociferous, powerfully. He was not afraid to speak his mind about any issue, whether people condemn him or not. These are the kind of people we need in our society. Not people to talk about war crime code alone. They have to disassociate with some standing regulations that do not benefit people. If possible, to change certain ordinances and certain rules, certain tradition, political traditions. We need liberation. Where there is education, there must be, light to guide all others. This is what I'm saying. President Weah recognizes the fact that when a child is educated, he conquers the world. So I respect his educational policy as the president. Aid the students, and they will serve the country. I love that man. I love President Weah. That is the only living hope Liberian people have. We don't need spelling riddles. We don't need people that have nothing to contribute. We don't need people that cannot represent themselves. This is what I'm saying. We need people to craft policy, drastic policy, no matter who is affected. But once it has that economic or social benefit for the liberation of people, it will be okay. We can no longer, be a country that will commit to blind loyalism. When the person is not doing what is right, tell them in the face. If he or she opposes, the world will bear you through. That's what I'm not happy about, a woman in that government, the vice president. Because a lot of things went on in her presence. We didn't see her reaction. So I had it against her until one of my friends here, Fale Kukone, and said, Napoleon, that is a woman. She was limited. So I said, no, the woman is said to be educated. So her voice is supposed to make her known. But once she didn't comment on certain things, then where do you put her? Will you say she wasn't interested to talk about certain things? We have seen in the broad daylight Zoe Taylor's husband, one of the tailors that executed a taxi driver for overtaking him, and nothing was done. And Joel Howard Taylor, I think she was the most senior first lady because Charles Taylor had two. Fatimata Taylor was added to Joel Howard Taylor, so there were two. But Joel Howard Taylor was most outspoken, was said to be educated from the West. So we thought, she was going to rebuke her husband. She didn't. And so many other things. We never hear her evil, policies. Okay, the international community forgave her, but some of us are not making a sense of her activism. Nothing. And we have not seen her making plans as an economist. She said she studied economics. But what has she, brought on board with all the knowledge she thinks she has? What? Liberia is still in the same slump. And for most part in the Salih regime, she was one of the most senior senators for Bon County. What has changed there? Nothing. So when somebody is said to be educated, we want to see the dynamism that goes with it. We want to see what the person has done. Like Boakai was lecturing, he was minister of this, minister of that, LPMC, Ministry of Agriculture as a head. But the only thing we heard was the sole equipment, and nothing came out of his tenure of service. And he was talking like, "Hey, I did good job." And he's still flying around instead of going back in those areas to reconnect himself with whatever little money he has to put his life together, because he has, grown children. Then he still want to be in opposition. These are things that we cannot buy. These are things we cannot consecrate. And we hate people of his type. All the time talking and no planning. All the time talking about plans, no power to execute his plans. Is like dreaming. It's good to have plan with action than to only dream and just sit down in your armchair. This does not make sense. So, like, ladies and gentlemen, armed robbery must be contained in Liberia. And I am sending this strong worded statement to all government officials, but mainly those people who are very, very close to preserving the peace and security of Liberia, to be more vigilant. And I'm asking the government to equip the police so that they will be able to be effective in their jobs. We will not countenance evil. No matter who does wrong, the person must be sought out and punished, if possible, executed. Napoleon told. This is the continuation of my channel, The Nation of Liberia. You are welcome. I will see your comments and your likes in the comment section. Have a great day. Bye.